Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's both shocking and eye-opening: ultra-processed foods. You know, those brightly colored packages that line grocery store shelves, whispering promises of convenience and deliciousness? We're going to pull back the curtain and expose the truth about these food imposters. Because here's the thing: what we eat impacts not just our physical health, but also our mental clarity, our environment, and even our wallets. And when we consume a diet dominated by ultra-processed foods, we might be signing up for a whole lot more than we bargained for. Are we all on a modern-day slave diet, chained to the whims of food corporations and their addictive concoctions? Let's find out. Okay, let's start with the basics. What exactly are ultra-processed foods? They're not just your grandma's homemade apple pie that happens to come in a box these days. We're talking about food products that have been industrially transformed, stripped of their natural goodness, and then re-engineered, often beyond recognition, with a cocktail of artificial ingredients. Think flavor enhancers, artificial sweeteners, stabilizers, colors that would make a rainbow blush. Ingredients you wouldn't find in your pantry, let alone nature. These additives are designed to do one thing: make the food incredibly appealing to our taste buds, even addictive, regardless of their nutritional value. You find them everywhere: those frozen meals promising a home-cooked taste in minutes, those brightly colored cereals marketed to kids, those chips that disappear in a salty, greasy crunch. They're convenient, they're often cheap, and they're aggressively marketed to us from every angle. But here's the problem: ultra-processed foods are essentially edible illusions. They masquerade as real food, but beneath the surface, they lack the nutrients our bodies crave. They're often loaded with sugar, unhealthy fats, sodium, a recipe for chronic disease. And it's not just about what they contain, but what they displace. When ultra-processed foods dominate our diets, they crowd out whole, unprocessed foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, the real MVPs of the nutrition game. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room: the very real and very scary health risks linked to a diet high in ultra-processed foods. We're not just talking about a little weight gain here. Research has linked excessive consumption of ultra-processed foods to a whole host of chronic diseases that can seriously impact your quality of life. Think heart disease, the #1 killer worldwide. Stroke, which can leave you with debilitating disabilities. Type 2 diabetes, a metabolic disorder that affects millions. Certain types of cancer, one of the most feared diagnoses. And it's not just our physical health that suffers. Studies have also linked ultra-processed foods to an increased risk of depression, anxiety, and even cognitive decline. They can mess with our gut health, too, potentially leading to digestive issues and inflammation throughout the body. Now, you might be thinking, but I eat ultra-processed foods all the time, and I feel fine. And you might be right, for now. The problem is, these health problems often develop slowly, silently, over years of consuming a diet dominated by these engineered edibles. It's like gradually adding weight to a scale. You might not notice the difference at first, but eventually, it becomes too heavy to ignore. So, while that bag of chips or that frozen dinner might seem harmless in the moment, remember that you're not just feeding your hunger. You're feeding into a system that prioritizes profit over your well-being. It's time to start seeing ultra-processed foods for what they truly are: a wolf in sheep's clothing, a threat to our health masquerading as convenient nutrition. Chapter 3: A Global Epidemic: The Shocking Stats on Ultra-Processed Foods. Let's face it, we live in a world saturated with ultra-processed foods. They're everywhere, from gas stations to school cafeterias, from vending machines to our own pantries. But just how widespread has this problem become? Well, prepare to be shocked. Historian S3: In many Western countries, ultra-processed foods now make up more than half of the average person's daily calorie intake. That's right. Over 50% of what people are consuming is essentially engineered food-like substances. And it's not just a Western phenomenon. The consumption of ultra-processed foods is rapidly increasing in developing countries as well, fueled by aggressive marketing tactics and the allure of convenience. This global shift towards a diet dominated by ultra-processed foods is having a devastating impact on public health. Historian S3: It's a driving force behind the rising rates of obesity, chronic diseases, and even mental health issues. But it's not just about individual health. This epidemic is putting an enormous strain on healthcare systems worldwide. The costs associated with treating diet-related diseases are skyrocketing, diverting resources away from other critical areas. And if that wasn't enough, the production of ultra-processed foods is also taking a toll on our environment. Historian S3. So, what we're facing is not just a health crisis, but a societal crisis. One that's impacting our bodies, our wallets, and our planet. Chapter 4: The system that keeps us hooked. Economics, marketing, and the power of addiction. Okay, so we know ultra-processed foods are bad for us. We know they're taking over our diets and harming our planet. But why are we so drawn to them? Why is it so hard to resist their siren song of convenience and flavor? Well, the truth is, it's not entirely our fault. Food Industry Representative, S5. We're up against a powerful system, a complex web of economic and social factors that are designed to keep us hooked on these addictive substances. Let's talk about economics first. Ultra-processed foods are cheap to produce, have a long shelf life, and can be shipped and stored easily. This makes them incredibly profitable for food corporations. And what do corporations do with profits? They invest them in marketing, of course. They spend billions of dollars each year bombarding us with ads that make their products seem irresistible. Think about it. How many times have you seen a commercial for fresh broccoli or a bowl of brown rice? Probably not that many. Food Industry Representative, S5. But you've definitely seen countless ads for sugary cereals, chips, and fast food, often marketed directly to children. These marketing campaigns are incredibly sophisticated. They use catchy jingles, celebrity endorsements, and colorful packaging to appeal to our emotions and bypass our rational minds. And let's not forget about the addictive nature of ultra-processed foods themselves. They're engineered to trigger the release of dopamine, the feel-good hormone in our brains, creating a cycle of craving and consumption. So, we're fighting a losing battle against our own biology, manipulated by a system that prioritizes profit over health. Food Industry Representative, S5. It's like being stuck in a rigged game where the house always wins. Chapter 5: Breaking Free. Practical tips to ditch the ultra-processed diet. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, and it might seem a bit overwhelming. But don't despair. Breaking free from the ultra-processed food trap is entirely possible, and it doesn't have to be a punishing experience. It's about making gradual, sustainable changes that add up to a healthier, happier you. Concerned Parent, S2. First and foremost, read labels. And I don't just mean glancing at the calorie count. Flip that package over and scrutinize the ingredients list. If you see a bunch of words you can't pronounce, ingredients you wouldn't find in your pantry, that's a big red flag. Young Activist, S4. Start by making small substitutions. Instead of that sugary cereal, opt for a bowl of oatmeal with fresh fruit. Ditch the potato chips for a handful of nuts or some cut-up veggies with hummus. Swap out that soda for water or unsweetened tea. Concerned Parent, S2. Plan your meals ahead of time. When you're tired and hungry, it's easy to reach for the quickest, most convenient option, which is often the most processed. But if you have a plan and healthy ingredients on hand, you're more likely to make nourishing choices. Young Activist, S4. And speaking of cooking, embrace the art of cooking at home. It doesn't have to be fancy or time-consuming. There are tons of simple, healthy recipes available online and in cookbooks. Plus, cooking at home allows you to control the ingredients and avoid hidden additives. Concerned Parent, S2. Don't deprive yourself. It's okay to indulge in your favorite treats occasionally. The key is moderation. Instead of making ultra-processed foods the foundation of your diet, treat them as occasional indulgences. Young Activist, S4. Find healthy alternatives. Craving something sweet? Reach for a piece of fruit or a S. Chapter 6: Reclaim Your Health. Join the real food revolution. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening content. Let us know in the comments what you think about ultra-processed foods and how you're planning to cut them out of your diet. Every step towards a real food diet is a step towards a healthier you. Remember, you have the power to make choices that nourish your body and mind. Let's break free from the modern-day slave diet together. See you next time. Mall Square of Dark Chocolate. Need a salty snack? Try air-popped popcorn or roasted chickpeas. Concerned parent, S2, be patient with yourself.